Welcome to Crocodile MTG, your home of competitive, constructed play in all Magic the Gathering formats. Today's video was brought to you by all our wonderful sponsors, affiliates, and patrons. Thank you all for supporting the Crocodile MTG channel, and we hope you enjoy today's video. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jordan with Crocodile MTG, here bringing you another Magic the Gathering video. We're going to go ahead and keep this hand. We're playing Blue-White Spirits and Pioneer today. Our opponent is playing Blue-Black something. That's pretty exciting. We don't see blue and black represented a lot in Pioneer currently. I'd like to see more of it. I think Blue-Black is definitely a very good archetype. We're going to go ahead and get this underway though. And our opponent is starting off, it looks like they're Blue-Black control, so we're going to try and be as aggressive as we can. I think the best way to be aggressive is to go ahead and throw down Selfless Spirit. Our opponent is going to have to constantly worry about that one. So let's go ahead and get in with Mausoleum Wanderer for 2. Selfless Spirit's going to protect some of our cards here. And next turn we're going to have Spell Queller up if we do not want to play Supreme Phantom. That is an option we'll have to look at though. And I think we want to probably play the more controlling game here. I'm going to go ahead and pay the 2, and we'll go ahead and get in for 3 damage. And again, we just want to be more reactive than proactive in this matchup because they are a control deck. They're going to want to remove a lot of our spells, and we're going to go ahead and fight back against that. Alright, it looks like they cycle 2 Hieroglyphic Illuminations and a Censor. So it looks like our opponent is recognizing the fact that they need more removal spells. Oh, they have a Scarab God? This is an exciting deck. I have not seen the Scarab God since the Standard days. I saw it was making a slight appearance in Pioneer. I'm going to go ahead and try to get Herald down on the battlefield. We'll see how our opponent reacts. This is probably a good opening for our opponent to, if they have a removal spell, to maybe use it. But it looks like our opponent's saving it for something. Alright, they're going to go ahead here in Fabled Passage. And they want to... So why don't I just counter that? And then next turn I can get in for 6, which is pretty good. So do I hit him down the 9 and then have the potential of losing? I guess so, because we have Selfless Spirit still. And then I'll hold up Spell Queller the turn after. So we're in pretty good shape here. Alright, search for, Azcanta the Sunken Ruin. Search for Azcanta transformed into Azcanta the Sunken Ruin. Very good card out of Ixalan. It was a very good control finisher. And now we'll have to see here. I'm going to go ahead and give all our creatures indestructible. And there's a Phantasmal Image. I'm going to go ahead and attack in for 5 here. And leave up the potential Spell Queller. Our opponent is probably going to... I was going to say they're going to put up counter on Blast Zone, but that actually doesn't work. So they're probably going to use Azcanta to try and find something here. But again, with us having the Spell Queller up and our Rattle Chains, our opponent might have a hard time dealing with that. And if they tap out for Languish here and don't have a backup, I'm going to be able to just Spell Queller that for the game. Our opponent's relying heavily on this Languish. Blue-black control. I'm super excited to be seeing this here. Alright, let's see what our opponent's plans are. Alright, they play a land. Now they're languishing. I'm going to attempt the Spell Queller. I think that's the correct play here in this match. Or in this part of the match. Because if they don't have anything, we win. If they have something, then that's fine. They have to use it on the Spell Queller. And then we get to just untap and play, like, if we draw a land, we can play Supreme Phantom and leave up Rattle Chains. Or leave up both because we have Rattle Chains. I guess probably not. If they're tapped out, we want to play the Supreme Phantom. Because if Rattle Chains comes down at the end of their turn, that's an attack for 4 as well. So we leave them in a little bit of a predicament. And we'll see here if we're able to get this match on the back of a Spell Queller exiling Languish. Languish is kind of the damnation of Pioneer. Languish was a very good removal spell in blue-black control days when it was played in Magic Origins Standard. Definitely a very good card. And it looks like our opponent didn't have anything, or they didn't think they'd be able to win the match. They do concede here. All right, so going to the sideboard now, I kind of want a lot of things here. I shouldn't say a lot of things. I want the Dovin's Vetoes and the Mystical Disputes for sure. I think I'm going to be able to cut the Herald. I think I want the Brazen Borrower still. I'm okay with things like Spectral Sailor, but I don't think we need all of them, simply because our opponent's going to try and board wipe us, and we want to be more tempo-based than we necessarily... Like, I don't mind playing a Mausoleum Wanderer on 1. A Spectral Sailor, again, not terrible on 1, but we don't want it the whole game. Empyrean Eagle is something that I'm tempted to trim a couple and maybe bring in these Disdainful Strokes. We did see that they had things like Scarab God and Languish. I think it might be worth bringing it in. Again, I don't think I want to cut all the Empyrean Eagles. I think I'm okay cutting 2. The question is, do I want a Detention Sphere and Disdainful Stroke, or do I just want 2 Disdainful Strokes? I think maybe until we see more of their deck, we keep our threats open. I guess they had the draw 2 card, the Hieroglyphic Illuminations. I think I'm okay with bringing in the Disdainful Strokes as opposed to the Detention Sphere. Again, we don't have a lot of removal, but I want to play more of the flash tempo-y game than I do the removal game. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. So we took out, I think, 5 cards. We took out 2 Spectral Sailors, 2 Imperial Eagles, and I guess it was more than 5. We took out 7 cards here and brought in more controlling elements. I think this hand's actually pretty good here. I think we're going to go ahead and keep that. We'll see if our opponent kept 7 as well. It looks like they did. So now we're going to go ahead and get to... I think we're just going to play Hallowed Fountain tapped unless we draw a 1 mana spell. I guess it's potentially decent to leave Mystical Dispute up, because if they play a turn 2 Search for Azcanta, I think that's pretty good. It's worth countering. And I think with drawing that island there, I think I'm fine with starting off with island and leaving up the Mystical Dispute. I was going to say our opponent probably fetches here and then is going to grab, I was going to say a swamp or an island. It looks like a swamp here. Alright, they actually have a Thoughtseize here. Alright, so that's unfortunate, but our hand's not like the good thing about Spirits in this kind of blue-white flash deck, its threats are very medium. So taking one thing doesn't destroy our game plan. It just changes the way the game's played. It's played at a similar rate. This play a threat, they have to deal with it. Play a threat, they have to deal with it kind of rate. And it's just one of those things where no matter what they take in this hand, I think we're in pretty good shape. They're going to know our hands for the next few turns, and they might be able to play around certain things and get... Alright, I'm going to go ahead and deal through this turn. They might be able to outplay the hand a little bit, but again, now we get to just play... Alright, I don't care about Mystical Disputing and opt. Now we just get to play Hallowed Fountain tap, though, leave up Mystical Dispute if we want it, and then we just kind of go along with the game and see where our opponent is going to take us. Because next turn I can just flash in a Brazen Borrower, and suddenly I have a 3-1 that needs to be dealt with. And we actually have Spell Queller now, so now I don't even know if I want to flash in the Brazen Borrower. Alright, they cycle. Alright, our opponent's definitely playing a heavy cycle deck. I don't know if that's one of their ways to win the game. Again, I'm going to play the more reactive game here. And now that we have a Curious Obsession, I'm more tempted to play a Brazen Borrower next turn. Our opponent probably brought in a bunch of removal spells, so that's just something we're going to have to be aware of. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and flash in Brazen Borrower here. We're leaving up the Mystical Dispute, which I think is fine. If we get to untap here, we get to have Mystical Dispute and Spell Queller. And if we draw a land, we're going to be able to throw a Curious Obsession on Brazen Borrower as well. But again, all my threats are things that are eventually going to win the game, and they have to deal with them. So, depending on what they have in hand here, they might just be stuck. So we'll see here how our opponent chooses to react. If they have a counter spell, they can just play it knowing it's going to get countered and then use a removal spell on it. And again, I think this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and counter the Sinister Sabotage. And if they let us untap, though, they're kind of going to get hurt because of it. So we're going to go ahead and play Curious Obsession here since they played the way they did. And now even if they have like a Noxious Grasp or something, we're going to be able to Spell Queller it. So now we have a 4-2 that's drawing a card every time it deals damage and has flying. And that's pretty good, especially against a control deck here. And we're actually going to get to play Port Town now and leave it up. I'm not sure if leaving it up is going to actually matter, but it might. Against this deck in particular, you do want to leave up an extra mana when you can, just because they have things like Censor, and you really don't want to get countered by something silly like a Censor. I don't know if they took the Censors out. They may have, but again, they're going to have to deal with this, but there's only a handful of ways they can deal with it. If they have just Languish in hand, that doesn't work because of the Disdainful Stroke. And again, I'm not going to play into our opponent's hand here. I'm going to force them to be reactive. Alright, let's see here. I have 5 mana up. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Mausoleum Wanderer here. And now we have Mausoleum Wanderer, Disdainful Stroke, and Spell Queller. What is this? Well, I'm going to just Disdainful Stroke that. And get in, and now we get the draw. They know about this other Brazen Borrower. They do not know about the Spell Queller. So this is actually a really good position that we're currently in. So our opponent's going to get the opt. Our opponent has a lot of draw spells, which I think is fine. It's probably what you have to do in blue and black to find your... Ooh, this is not going to work out for our opponent. So I think I leave this. I think that's fine. Actually, we might just have lethal here. So I think I just play the Brazen Borrower. 7, 8, 9. Actually, we're 1 short. So maybe I don't. Maybe I slow it down a little bit. If I was guaranteed a Spirit next turn, I'm going to go ahead and Petty Theft here. If I was guaranteed a spell next turn, I'd be able to... Well, now I'm going to just counter the Fatal Push. Oh, I see. They're making it a zombie in response. Alright, I was a little confused there for a minute. Alright, we drew a Mutavault. That's actually a pretty good one here. And now we have Spell Queller and Brazen Borrower and Mutavault, and I don't think our opponent's going to be able to deal with all of these threats. And our opponent ended up just conceding there. So a great game, opponent. Thank you all so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video. And I appreciate you all for being here. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next match. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Also, check out the description below for more Magic the Gathering content. This was Jordan with Crocodile MTG, and we will see you next time.